Yeah, this is the time when the form aspect, esoterically speaking, is waning. And therefore, we can say that the matter aspect is waning. And so we're approaching that point of maximum darkness, wherein in the evening sky we can see more clearly because the moon's light is not blocking us from a truer penetration into the ability to view the stars. And so, symbolically speaking, I think the new moon is a very potent time. We do know that the spiritual hierarchy of our planet meets at this time as well as at the full moon. And so it's a potent opportunity to work together to let in the light. Virgo's color is yellow, related to its ruler, its exoteric ruler, the planet Mercury, the planet most often associated with the mental aspect. So let's begin with a moment of silence to link up with all the members of our group here today, as well as all the other groups and individuals throughout the world who are aligning with us at this time of the Virgo New Moon. Lead us, O Lord, from darkness to light, from the unreal to the real, from death to immortality. Before we begin with another visualization exercise, I just wanted to announce that after I share a few thoughts, I'd like to open it up to you, to the group. So if you have any comments related to themes related to Virgo or this time period in planetary history, you'll have a chance to share them before we go into the meditation. So just as we did at the Virgo full moon, I wanted to use this visualization exercise, which is related to enhancing our ability to be creative in our service work. And as I said last time, it's a visualization that was given to Foster Bailey, Alice Bailey's husband, to stimulate his work. So let's take a moment of silence. Each day, visualize pictorially your entire work and program. See each phase of your work as a lotus of living beauty, connected with all the other phases by lines of fiery energy, thus bringing all parts of it into one whole. All the different phases will form a great unity of light and love, expressing itself through the will to good. So let's focus in the group mind, raising our energy to the soul, bringing it down imaginatively into the brain, establishing that three-way alignment of soul, mind, brain. And now holding the consciousness in the mind, proceed again to visualize each aspect of your service work as a lotus of living beauty, connected with all the other phases of your work by lines of fiery energy, thus bringing all parts of it into one creative whole. Now radiate the perfume and beauty from these lotuses into your environment, silently sounding the Om. And the Tibetan closed the exercise with the words, "Go forward with courage, hope, and joy, plus understanding, my brother. Train those who work with you with painstaking care, for much depends upon them. Remember always that you do not work alone." So in a sense, we work with much creativity when we work with the sign of Virgo. Its two ruling planets are both ruled by the fourth ray of harmony through conflict, beauty, the ray of color. These two planets being, of course, Mercury and the Moon. The sacred planet, Mercury, along the fourth ray line, and the Moon, the non-sacred fourth ray planet, which in the case of Virgo veils Vulcan and Neptune. So there is a tremendous amount of soft line energy, second line energy, the feminine aspect pouring through this great sign of the Virgin, the sign of the Cosmic Mother. A great receptivity can be established in consciousness at this time as we, humanity, are subject to the light. The light, the yellow light, pours into our minds, and to the extent that we can overcome humanity's long established tendency to focus in the more concrete aspects of the mind, and can transcend those aspects, rise above them, and overcome the limitations of the lower mind, its analytical nature, its critical nature, its concrete nature. To the extent that we can work with the higher aspects of Virgo, we can be subject to illumination. The Tibetan tells us during this conditioning, when this conditioning energy is strong, either in a natal horoscope or during the cycle in the annual year when Virgo is strong. So we are working decidedly in a potent time this day. And just to give you another teaching, which we use often at the new moon, which is related to what's called the Sabian symbols. There is a symbol that was channeled by a woman in California many years ago, mm, working with an astrologer, and they brought through a symbol, a symbolic image that she obtained for each sign. So we look to the Sabian symbol of the degree of the new moon as an indicator of sort of a keynote for the coming monthly cycle till the next new moon. And I thought that this one for 23 degrees of Virgo, actually 24 degrees of Virgo, was particularly related to the significant themes of this sign. So the symbol is stated to be Mary and her little lamb. And in Mark Edmund Jones's book, he describes the key word or the key note for this Sabian symbol as artlessness. So I looked up artlessness in the dictionary, and it says, number one, having or displaying no guile, no cunning, or deceit. So having or displaying no guile, cunning, or deceit. Then it's free from artificiality. It's natural, such as artless charm. It can also have a more negative connotation, meaning naive. But I think Dane Rudhyar's analysis of it is also interesting to read. He says, coming after the preceding symbols, this symbol tells us that though great, spectacular, and resolute efforts are needed in order to achieve one's higher goals of destiny, still the essential quality as one journeys on the path is a pure, spontaneous, fresh, and nonviolent approach to all encounters. This, of course, is Jesus' entreaty to his disciples, that they should be like little children. Without such a deep, heartfelt simplicity, the seeker after spiritual experiences or initiation is bound to find himself glamored by his own successes and to see his ego feeding on the drama of struggle and victory. So, artlessness, the need to become as little children, the need to cultivate that simplicity and sensitivity, which the Tibetan tells us will enable us to hear the still small voice of the silence in the midst of this world full of distractions and glamour and illusion. Here's another interesting passage. Tibetans asking the question, how can we enter into these inner realms? And he says, by a constant effort based on subjective impulse to create those forms that will express some sense truth. It might be said that divinity is veiled and hidden in the multiplicity of forms with their infinite detail, and that in the simplicity of forms, which will eventually be seen, we shall arrive at a newer beauty, a greater sense of truth, and at the revelation of God's purpose. So all of the busyness of our lives, all of the things that perhaps we think are so important, but perhaps that from the perspective of our soul are not important at all. All of this multiplicity of forms that are created by an overly active lower mind and an uncontrolled emotional body and a weak and devitalized physical body, all of these hindrances in our three lower vehicles perhaps inhibited our ability to create those forms that will be simple and that will reveal the beauty of the inner worlds and enable us to create or bring through such forms as our contribution or a part of our contribution to the unfolding plan. We can also enter into these inner realms, the Tibetan says, by a constant effort to render oneself sensitive to the world of significant realities and to produce those forms on the outer plane which will run true to the hidden impulse through the cultivation of the creative imagination. So, somewhat of a reiteration of the first point. So, it's speaking to the artist to really work with the purification of his or her vehicles. Because without that discipline, which the Tibetan says the artists of the world really need, without that discipline, what an artist may bring through will not perhaps be of the greatest moment unless they render themselves sensitive to these inner worlds prior to creating. And then the final point, he says, the pain in all moments of intensity must be undergone and lived again and again until the mechanism of contact is accustomed to the heightened vibration and can not only sense and touch, but can hold and contact at will this hidden world of beauty so as to share it with others. So perhaps we, in our work at the full and new moon, together with all of the other groups throughout the world, each group has a soul. And during these times of interlude in the monthly cycle, the soul of any group can find itself at one with the soul of other groups. And there's a great beauty in this sharing, in this coming together and bridging the gaps which in our lower mind consciousness are all too often readily apparent. At these interlude periods, we can come together at these moments of intensity and hold and capture that inner beauty and then bring it down and express it through our collective meditative efforts and give forth beauty and harmony and music as a contribution to this task of making our planet sacred, which will be the theme of our meditation. Because our planet, as we always are reminded, is in the process of going through a great initiation. And particularly this year, 2012, because of the festival week, which we are preparing for, we have the opportunity to come together and do what we can to change, as you can see in this picture, the etheric grid of our planet from a network of squares into a network of triangles. That's ultimately the task, the underlying motive behind the Tibetan's work, which he brought forward in his hierarchical activity of triangles. And if none of you are members of triangles, or if you would like to create more triangles, you could visit the Lucis Trust website, where there is a bulletin board where you can find other people who are looking to form triangles. And to the extent that we undertake this triangles each day with our triangles partners, we are helping in this task of transforming the etheric net grid of our planet from a network of squares into a network of triangles. And the Tibetan has another interesting quote. I like quotes. Um, the effort on Earth today, as seen by the planetary logos, is to bring about a transformation of the web of the planet, and thus slowly change the existing squares into triangles. This is done by the creation of division, by the application of the law of separation, but also by the recognition in consciousness of duality, the application of directed motion, and the appearance of two triangles in the place of one square. When this has taken place, the perceiving consciousness recognizes identity, and the rule of the square is ended. These words were once spoken to me by an ancient seer who bisected the square esoterically, thus forming two triangles, and united them in a fresh manifestation to form a star of life. Ponder on this. This is from Esoteric Astrology, page 479. So this sign, Virgo, is, as we said last month, one of the triple signs, along with Scorpio. So it is related very much to the triangle. And in the case of Virgo, we're told to the lower triangle, the triangle perhaps consisting of the three lower vehicles of the physical etheric, the astral, and the mental vehicles. There needs to be undergone through the long process of preparation for initiation, for the first initiation, and then a long process of time which is undergone before the second initiation is taken under the sign of Scorpio. So this Virgo experience is related to long, silent periods of growth within the depths of consciousness, wherein these three lower vehicles are purified, perfected, and then this triangle, this lower triangle, is lifted up and blended with the triangle of Scorpio, which is symbolic of the soul aspect, the triple soul. So in this sign, these two signs, these two triple signs, we see the merging and the creation of the six-pointed star. Um, so these are all deep mysteries. The Tibetan tells us as we come to understand these triple signs, the whole teaching, the mystery hidden within esoteric astrology begins to be revealed to us. It's interesting to note that in the case of Virgo and its opposite sign, Pisces, we see the rulership of the first ray manifesting. And also in the sign Scorpio and its opposite Virgo, we also see the first ray manifesting. And these are the only four signs in the zodiac wherein the first ray, via planetary rulers, enters in. And so it is this first ray planets of Vulcan, the synthetic first ray planet, and Pluto, the destroyer aspect of the first ray. These planets come to our aid during that process in the path of evolutionary growth, wherein we're preparing for the first initiation, preparing for the second initiation, when so many things must be left behind, that we're reminded of this teaching on the merging of the two lower triangles. There is another triple sign, which some say is the sign of Capricorn, whose symbol remains veiled to us, symbolic of the triadal, the third or highest triangle. The Tibetan says that the teaching on triangles is the most important aspect of all the teaching he gave forth in the book Esoteric Astrology. So we can read about these triangles in the chapter at the back of that book, but he also gives teaching on these various triangles. Many triangular relationships are found in esoteric astrology, and we are asked to pay attention to them. So certainly this sign, Virgo, gives us an important triangle, which is related to the earth signs, which is all of the earth signs, the Tibetan says, are very related to our planet Earth. And so we always know of the importance of Taurus, the first earth sign, the time of the Wesak full moon. But Virgo equally has an important part to play in our planetary transformation. And then, of course, the important sign of initiation, Capricorn. We're preparing, as I said, for this festival week from December 21st to December 28th. And so each of these earth signs has an important part to play in this preparation period. And from my understanding in my reading of the Tibetan, I believe that the following Wesak festival in 2013, after this festival week of exceeding importance this year because a full moon occurs during this time, the Tibetan seems to clearly indicate that the Wesak festival following upon this festival week period is exceedingly potent. There's an incredible alignment, extraplanetary alignment set up, which the Buddha is the mediator for, transmitting that potency through the world teacher. And then the new group of world servers has to stand ready, having received its stimulation during the festival week. We stand steady at the Wesak and Gemini full moons to provide that channel whereby the energies can be transmitted to the three lower kingdoms. So it's all about forming this great chain of hierarchy. And each of these full moon periods is preparing us to be a better channel. But particularly, I think, during these earth signs, the Tibetan gives us a mysterious teaching. He equates Taurus with the plains, Virgo with the cave, and Capricorn with the rock. So if you wanted to read a passage about that, you can look in the Taurus chapter in esoteric astrology. So here's another beautiful quote, I think, which talks about the significance of Virgo. It involves the service of the immediately present, or in other words, that God immanent evokes reaction from the form side and is thereby served. So the service of the immediately present, and from our Sabian symbol, living artlessly, living without guile, perhaps becoming as little children, living in the present moment, serving the immediately present. These are all powerful themes in this Virgo experience, reminding us to stay present, to stay open and receptive to what our life brings to us in each moment, and to make each moment a creative activity to release the Christ or the inner love aspect which is within all of us and which we can express to all in our environment to the extent that we just remember the possibilities inherent in each moment of our daily lives, which this quote, and then I'll open it up to any sharing from you. This reiterates the same theme. That which is to be revealed lies all around us and within us. It is the significance of all that is embodied in form, the meaning behind the appearance, the reality veiled by the symbol, the truth expressed in substance. So, this service of the immediately present, recognizing that divinity is all around us, veiled in the symbol of the form nature. But during this time when the moon rules, and through the aid of the planet Vulcan and Neptune, we are able to pierce through the veils. And at this new moon, when the form aspect is waning, it seems that we do have a great opportunity to turn towards the light, to see things more clearly. All right, so let's open it up. If anyone has any comments, they can either post them in the chat or raise their hand by looking for the small hand symbol. Anything doesn't have to be an astrological sharing. I know all of you have many thoughts because I know some of you. If you are raising your hand and I don't see it, it's sometimes that is the case in this. I'd like to call on someone, even though that's not really kosher. But I'd like to call on Marie Christina, who always has many thoughts to share with us. Marie Christina, do you have anything you'd like to share?
No,
No?
I'm very I cannot speak.
Okay.
No.
All right. Sorry.
No problem.
Anyone else? And I will not call on anyone else. All right, I don't see any. So we're all probably in a meditative mode, which is good. So let's begin with our meditation, making the planet sacred. We dedicate ourselves to the creation of a group field for the reception and distribution of the inflowing energies of the World Servers Festival Week, and further, with the deeper purpose of preparing humanity for the return of the coming one. So let us connect our group with all other groups throughout the world. Lifting the energies of the group, physical, etheric, emotional, and mental bodies into the plane of mind. And then lifting them into the group soul. And merging with all other souls, we form a great center of light within humanity. And visualizing the group onto Karana Bridge. We pass over that bridge and visualize our entry into the great circle of hierarchy. In meditation deep, we take our place on the periphery, standing receptive to the love of the group gathered there and the world teacher standing at the center of hierarchy. Holding our focus within the world teacher, we imaginatively extend our alignment to the great center lying far beyond, the center Shambhala. And we connect with the second ray, Kumara, and the energies pouring from the moon, Mercury, the heart of the sun, and the great sign, Virgo. Hold the mind open and receptive to impression. Visualize a great inpouring of golden light into the reservoir of hierarchy. Visualize all true servers everywhere being strengthened to carry out their work. See them drawing from the light and love of the hierarchical reservoir. Visualize a five-pointed white star over the Middle East, pouring the energies of light and love and power through that star and releasing the energies through all planes and states of consciousness. Recenter the consciousness within the periphery of the great ashram. Sounding the affirmation of love. In the center of all love, I stand. From that center, I, the soul, will outward move. From that center, I, the one who serves, will work. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in my heart, through my group, and throughout the world. Holding the mind steady and focused, ponder the plan for our planet. And visualize the descent of a radiant sphere of light into the cave in the head. And taking our stand there, we dedicate ourselves to the service of that plan. And we radiate the energies through the Ajna center, the planetary etheric body, through the 5 planetary inlets, New York, London, Geneva, Darjeeling, Tokyo, sounding the great invocation from the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth from the point of love within the heart of God. Let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you very much. And again, the exact time of the new moon is this evening at 10:12 Eastern Daylight Time. Thank you very much for your participation. Goodbye.